Hello guys and girls, welcome back to the Racing Line for another circuit guide. It's week 2 of season 3 in 2026 around Oulton Park circuit in the BMW M2 Cup. This is an official race series, so the conditions match, and it's a fixed series, so no setup is needed. Same format as before. Breakdown lap followed by a full speed uninterrupted lap followed by an off-board lap. Let's see if we can help you find some time. So as we start the lap, we're climbing up the hill heading towards turn 1. Now there's a trick in turn 1 that will make you faster than most other people. As we get to it, the braking zone is going to be, the marker is the left hand side, the sponsor board's on the left. In between there's some Armco barrier showing. You're going to brake but keep the car in 5th gear. This is the trick, trailing all the way into the apex, straight back on the power. As long as you keep 2 wheels on the red and white curve, it won't be a 1x, but you will gain on the exit there. As you come down, this one's a tricky one. There's a bump in the road just up ahead. As we get to that bump, we're going to brake from 5th down into 4th gear, diagonally across in towards the corner, trailing off again. Very strong in this car is trail braking. Hold it tight to the inside. There's a lot of grip inside there on that inside curve, and you need to get back on the power nice and early as you've got a long straight on the exit. This next corner, it feels like it wants to be flat out. It's not. It's a lift or a slight brake. Try and keep your car in the middle or to the left for the next corner. It's super important. Tyre wall on the left. As that ends, we're going to brake from 5th down into 3rd, and again, hold the car tight to the inside of the corner. The track is cambered in, and it drags you round so you can get on the power nice and early. Now, the first of the 2 death chicanes is coming up, and the braking zone is pretty tricky. There isn't really a marker. We have a marshal post there on the right-hand side. We're going to brake about 25 meters before that, but our line of sight is heading straight towards the chicane. We're braking diagonally across, straight in there, from 5th down into 3rd. So brake just before the marshal post, straight in. We'll do it in slow motion. So from 5th, try not to hit the ABS, braking towards that first apex, down into 3rd now, and turn in towards the tyre wall as if you're going to hit it. Trust the understeer, straight back on the power in 3rd gear. I left a little bit of time on the table there, gave it a bit of room to the tyre walls, but this is an official race, so I'm sure you can cut me some slack. Next braking zone is nice and easy. It's a 100-meter board. As we pass it, again, from 5th, down into 3rd gear for the second of the 2 death chicanes. As we trail in, you can stab the throttle a little bit for the second apex, but try and keep it in the middle or to the left to really open up this right. I lift off, short shift into 4th, and get straight on the power. And it tends to give you a really good run up towards the double right-hander of Druids. As you carry the power all the way up, the next braking zone is another tricky one. There's no real marker. We're going to use the trees on the left. There's 3 prominent trees. Try not to use shadows, because depending on time of day, it can be different. The middle tree is where we're going to brake. And again, we're going to keep it in 5th gear. Another little secret. Trailing in, but be patient on the throttle. If you get on the throttle too early, you will understeer wide onto the grass. So keep it in 5th. Get that power down, and now we have 1 corner to go. Braking zone, ironically, is that dark patch on the Armco barrier, but I can't tell if it's a shadow or a painted barrier. So you can use the arrow board and brake about 10 meters after that is also no problem. From 5th down into 3rd gear for the final turn. Again, trailing in. Get the power on as early as you can. Let the car carry you out to the outside curve. Up the hill you go and across the line for a 150.4. A tricky circuit to learn, very difficult to overtake in the race, but let's go through it again, full speed, uninterrupted. Gap in the sponsorship board, brake, keep it in 5th, trailing in towards the apex, straight back on the power, use all the exit, but don't cross that red and white curb with your right-hand side wheels. Keep it on the right now, look for the bump in the road, braking, down into 4th gear, hold it tight to the left, start to get that throttle on, squeeze it on, try not to run too wide on the exit, and now we've got to run down to the fast left. There's a little road on the right-hand side. That's where we're going to lift off. So lift off at the little gap in the road, down into 5th if you are in 6th, keep it to the left if you can, tyre wall on the left, braking when it ends, down into 3rd gear, hold it tight to the right-hand side, back on the power, over to the left-hand side now. And now take a deep breath before we get to the 2 chicanes that could ruin everything. Marshal post just before it, braking down into 3rd gear as we go into the corner, sharp right, straight back on the power. You can use a bit of curb on the left, but I was a little bit scared to do so because there is a slowdown there somewhere. Just didn't quite find where that limit was. 100-meter board for the next one. We're going to brake again from 5th to 3rd gear, turn it in, little stab of the throttle, lift off, hold it now to the left, back on the power, lift off again, shift up into 4th, down on the power again. If you don't touch that inside curve, you will gain 1 to 2 tenths on this lap time on this straight. There was a couple laps where I didn't touch that and my delta was going positive, but it's just quite hard to get right every time. Middle tree, on the brakes, keep it in 5th, hit the first apex, now back on the power, hit the second apex, use the exit curve. Tricky corner to get right, but when you do get it right, you know that feeling. Now the dark patch on the left-hand side, hard on the brakes, down into third gear, trailing in, back on the power as you go up over the crest of the hill, and now down and then up. A little roller coaster of a circuit here in England is Oulton Park. That is pretty much it for the onboard lap and the breakdown lap. So I'm going to leave you with an offboard lap. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if I don't see you on track this week, I'll see you next week for the next video here on The Racing Line.